Chapter 1, Leaders are Followers. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. 1 Corinthians 11:1. Many people try to learn about leadership by attending seminars, reading books, or listening to the experts. And while those may be good things, they're just self-help methods. The Apostle Paul, appointed by God as a leader to the Gentile churches, said, "Follow me as I follow Christ." So godly leadership is really all about following. That's a totally different approach than most of the leadership teaching today. The average teaching on leadership usually starts with how a person needs to have a vision. While I believe vision is important, it's not the first thing. Relationship with God is the first thing. Vision actually comes out of the relationship with God. To be a godly leader, your relationship with God must be more than what the average person has for 1 hour on Sundays. You can't just be part of the nod to God crowd. You've got to have a living relationship with the Lord. He has to be part of your everyday life. Unfortunately, most people who learn leadership principles will implement them independently of God. It's like they think, if I just follow this person's formula and do steps X, Y, and Z, then I'll get their results. But that's not the way it works. I have a personal relationship with God. He has spoken to me and told me things that I need to know to fulfill the role of being a godly leader. For example, when it comes to dealing with a crisis or criticism, the Scripture tells me to cast all of my care on the Lord because He cares for me. 1 Peter 5:7. That's part of having a personal relationship with God. He cares for me. At Charis Bible College, the predominant thing we teach about is having a relationship with God. We don't teach gimmicks, nor do we just teach steps or formulas. I'm not saying that there aren't steps and stages of your development as a leader, but we prioritize things. Everything really comes back to your personal relationship with God, and that's where you begin. I'm not against people who go to leadership conferences, but I'm saying that my life is not based on principles that I've learned from a conference or somebody's teaching. It has all come from my personal relationship with God. If you're not drawing on your own relationship with God, then you can sit under the best leaders in the world and learn all kinds of things, and I guarantee that you aren't going to be an effective and godly leader. What's inside of you? I remember when I was in the 6th grade, I had a teacher who used a lot of practical things to illustrate the points that he made. Once he took a metal 1-gallon gas can and put it on a Bunsen burner. He heated that thing up to where it was nearly red hot, and then he put the cap on it. He took it off the burner, sat it on his desk, and just went on teaching. I was sitting on the front row where I could see this teacher's desk up close, and that meant this can was right in front of me. As the can cooled off, it began to crinkle and make popping sounds, and I watched that can get crushed right before my eyes. Eventually, it was just bent in two, it fell off the desk, and landed on the floor at my feet. This teacher was illustrating that hot air occupies a higher volume than cold air. He heated that can and sealed it off so the surrounding atmospheric pressure couldn't get inside. That formed a partial vacuum inside of the can, and the pressure from the outside crushed it. That was a lesson that I've never forgotten, and I've applied it throughout my life. I've watched many people try to cope and deal with the pressures that come against them, and what they're actually doing is trying to diminish all of the outside pressure on themselves. They're trying to make everybody treat them a certain way and just adjust to their feelings. But they don't realize that their problems aren't because of pressure from the outside. The real problem is the vacuum that's on the inside of them. That's what is actually causing people to collapse. It all comes back to having a relationship with God.
Thank you for watching the audiobook sample. To listen to the full audiobook, click the link in the description. God bless.